Welcome. It's a beautiful day out here in Bognor Regis, and we got another episode of Star Parodia. If you were in the market for 2D platformers or shoot-em-ups back in the day, the PC Engine was your guy. You know, all things considered, I'm kind of surprised that shoot-em-ups is a term that's still in rotation. I feel like in the Reddit era, that is something that would definitely be retired by now. Did the developers not know that shooting people was wrong? We have to come up with a new name for this thing. What say you, fellow enlightened Redditors? Post your answer in the comments for what we should call shoot-em-ups from now on. And then the top comment would say, well, in Australia, we call them chazwazzers. And that's what they would call shoot-em-ups. Oh, Internet, you truly are a bastion of good and bad things. Some day it's weird, toxic people, and then other days it's big boobed clown ladies. Uh-oh, he's got maracas. That's cultural appropriation. So the key to doing this one is he only takes damage when he's front-facing and thin. See, that's the key. If you make yourself thin, you'll be harder to hit with the bullets. Remember that when you... No, do not finish that joke. Anyway, I'm just shooting him anyway when he's sideways. Couldn't hurt, you know. Yep. Isn't it neat how the power-ups are hue cards? I don't think I've addressed that yet. If I were a low-effort AVGN parody, I would say, yeah, pick up the hue cards to get the CDs. That makes a lot of sense. But no, I prefer more thoughtful and thought-provoking conversations. Like, for example, you know, I guess when you take a step back and look at it, the shoot-em-up genre really hasn't evolved in the last 35 years. If you were to compare this to those artsy-fartsy modern shoot-em-ups you see on Steam for $15, you would find very little differences. I guess the only discernible difference I can think of is the number of bullets on screen. That's definitely something the modern games do more. All those Two-Who games, I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. They're always big with just the crazy amount of bullets. And I guess the only time I can think of where a shoot-em-up was really, innovative was Ikaruga for the GameCube, because you could switch your ship into two different colors. You could have it be black or white, and the color of the ship determined which bullets you could pass through and which ones would hit you. So if you had the white ship, you could pass through white bullets, and vice versa. That was a neat way of doing things. And I think Ikaruga has some kind of modern remake out there if you're interested. If you've got a hankering for shmups, you can go watch some Shmup Junkie. I've never actually seen any of his stuff, I'm just remotely aware of him. Coming up on another boss in a second here. This one is a walrus, if you couldn't already tell. He's got statues of himself everywhere. He's like Muammar Gaddafi. Which was the dictator that had the statues of himself? Was it Ceausescu? Anyway, he's trapped in a big a crystal prison like the villains from that Superman movie from the 70s. You know, Seth MacFarlane just loves that reference. He's made not one, but two references to that in Family Guy before. You know, the scene from the Superman movie where the villains get trapped in the big crystal and thrown out into space. One of them was in the early season where I think Peter got into a bar fight, and there was like a big group of people all trying to take him on at once, and one of the people was the villains from the Superman movie, and they just recreated the scene from the movie, and Peter throws them into space in the big prism. And then the second time they referenced it was in a more recent season where Lois was having some sort of drug-induced... Holy sprite scaling, Batman. Lois was having like a drug-induced hallucination, and at one point Lois got trapped in the crystal from the Superman movie, and she says, "I don't know what this reference is. Is this from Spider-Man?" Yeah, I'd say that's pretty on brand. You know, you think some things in life are universal, that everybody knows about them, and then not so much. When I was a young boy, there was a commercial on TV for Spider-Man 2 coming out in theaters. I was at my grandparents' house, and to my surprise, I learned that apparently Spider-Man isn't a universal thing. That they had never heard of Spider-Man. I was utterly gobsmacked. Fuck you, Grandma. So we made a nice smooth transition from the water level to the ice level. Did you guys ever play ukulele where they made the ice level and the water level just one giant thing? It was just a horribly unpleasant experience from start to finish. That was about where I quit the game, and I'm thinking that's about where everybody else quit the game as well. We all wanted ukulele to be good, but it just wasn't there. Although they have fixed a few things with the patches. Such is life in the modern age, games get better with time. What a time to be alive. But still, there are some things that just can't be fixed. So much like the fish boss, there are only certain times when he actually takes damage. It's quite clear to see when those times are, but... I mean, it's clear to see that he's taking damage, but it's not clear what the cue is. So anyway, not 100% related to Star Parodia, but I was reading a really interesting blog post earlier about the behind the scenes of the Simpsons movie, and it's really kind of depressing once you realize what happens. They had a really bad test screening with the audiences and, you know, the focus groups. That was kind of weird. It's like we died and he died at the same time. But anyway, yeah, they invited the focus groups, and the scene they were showing them, it was the first scene of the movie. It had Itchy and Scratchy in it, and they figured audiences are gonna love this. They're gonna cheer when they see these characters that they recognize. And they showed them the scene, and there was just dead silence in the audience. The test screening people basically said, "Yeah, we don't know who these characters are," and that kind of freaked out the writers of the movie, and it basically changed the entire trajectory of how the film was written. This idea of we need to, what's the word I'm looking for, not accommodate, but we need to build the movie in such a way so that everything's understandable to somebody who's never even seen the show before. And so, oh yeah, we can change, we can look at some of the other ships. They got 3 of them in the game. But anyway, yeah, the movie was written for the lowest common denominator from that point onwards. Just the slowest and dumbest jackass out there. Oh, jeez. I feel like they could have had more jokes that were meant for long-term fans, you know? They could have had a very different movie on their hands. Ooh, that guy. He really reached down there to get that power-up that time. So, with the power-ups that come out of that weird tree man, I'm thinking the orange ones are good and the blue ones are bad, just based on the sound effect that plays when you get the blue ones. I mean, once again, I can't see what's written on it, or rather, I can't read what's written on it. I can see it just fine, but just going by sound alone, I don't think it's doing a good thing. Yes, indeed. So, this one's kinda got a mixed theme, if I do say so myself. You got ancient Japanese temples, then you've also got the the Egyptian pyramids as well, and then there's Stonehenge. What is the theme? We're going around the world like we're at Epcot or something. You ever been to Epcot? You ever see that ride where Patrick Warburton is like the pilot? Thank you for visiting Epcot. Later. So in this boss battle, they do a cool thing with the audio. You know, again, since being able to record a sound in a video game was still a new thing, and so the snake charmer, he will call out which snake comes out of the pot next. I'll stop talking for a second so you can hear it. Yeah, pretty neat, huh? They were experimental with the audio. So yeah, this is pretty much the gist of Star Parodia. There's 3 ships in total, and we looked at 2 of them. You didn't really miss anything with the third one. The third one's just a generic ship, but yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. Star Parodia for the PC Engine CD.